Welcome back. You're watching Storyboard. Delivering on its promise of making access to OTT content and its discovery easy, Tata Play Binge now claims to have become the nation's biggest OTT aggregator platform with 27 apps. With Tata Play Binge subscribers getting entry into all of their favorite content across screens, mobile, desktop, tablet or TV with one subscription, one search and one app. To celebrate this milestone, the brand has also rolled out an extensive campaign called Bachcha Bachcha Janta Hai, featuring Saif Ali Khan and Kareena Kapoor Khan, talking about the essence of the offering, which is having access to all the content from 27 OTT platforms covering movies, shows, news, games and more under one unified platform. We have the exclusive access to this film ahead of the launch, and we are also catching up with Harit Nagpal, MD and CEO Tata Play, who's giving us an insight into the OTT aggregator ecosystem and the way forward. Listen in.
मीरा जी, ये आर्या कहाँ पे देखने को मिलेगा?
टाटा प्ले बिंज पे देखिए डिज्नी प्लस हॉटस्टार का आर्या, जी5 की बंदा और सोनी लिव का गुल्लक जैसे शोज और मूवीज सब एक बिंज ऐप पे।
मनोज सर, ये तो बच्चा बच्चा जानता है, अब तो पूछना बंद कीजिए।
टाटा प्ले बिंज 22 प्लस OTT apps एक ही ऐप में।
Harit, welcome to CNBC-TV18.
Thank you.
It has been a year and a half since you rebranded to Tata Play and then Tata Play Binge. Tell us, how has the past year and a half panned out so far?
Purpose of rebranding really was that we'd been kind of successful television linear content distributors for almost about 15-17 years, and we started distributing OTT content. So we became aggregators for that. And when we went to our customers with that content, they said, oh, this is your competition or this is an alternative. And we never saw it as an alternative. We saw it as an add-on. We saw it in another way of consuming the same content through another screen, through another medium. So then we said, okay, the conclusion was that let's change our clothes. Let's change our appearance. Let's change our mannerism. And that meant rebranding. So we did that, and effect was that not only were we accepted as vendors of content, but our salience, our likability, our intention to purchase us, all those numbers went up because of the activity that we did around it.
So OTT aggregator space is very unique. It's very complex at the same time. You know, there are these telecom operators who began, providing this OTT aggregator service. Then DTH players such as yourself entered. There are these OTT players who also, to a great extent, provide OTT apps are present. So it's confusing for the consumer to choose between these different offerings. How does a consumer do that then? And your take on this whole complexity of this entire...
So what you call complex, we saw it as a natural next step, effectively. Because what were we doing prior to this? A customer had a choice between 600 channels, of which everybody chose his 20, 30, 40, whatever channels they normally watched, depending on the language and the genre they were interested in.
Correct.
We did our deals with these 600 odd channels and created a digital interface which made discovery of content easy for the customer and also allowed him to subscribe into packages of his choice.
Yeah.
These are the three basic jobs.
Yeah.
Deals, subscribable packages, content discovery easy. When we noticed that there is not going to be 1, 2 or 4, but 30, 40, 50 apps, each one having hundreds of thousands of pieces of content, and a customer having to forge commercial relation with each one of them, and then spend his evening trying to wade through this content, looking for what he wants to watch, we saw an opportunity. Exactly the way we'd seen it in television.
Yeah.
And our experience of creating that platform, albeit in a very different kind of a platform, through a different medium for different screens, but yet there was an opportunity. So we saw it as a natural next step.
So when these OTT platforms are pushed through an aggregator, there is a lot of pricing cut, which a lot of OTT platforms such as Netflix have been speaking about. And, the cost of content production has only increased over the past couple of years. So your take on that, and is it sustainable? Would we see something else in the coming years?
So you got to look at it from what's the reality on the ground. An app may be charging X dollars or X rupees to the subscriber. How much is it taking home out of that? The cost of acquisition and the cost of retaining and the cost of reacquiring the same subscriber. If you add those up, there is very little that the app owner is taking home. Because those are hidden costs. Now, for every app owner to spend those costs versus an aggregator to spend the same cost in acquiring a customer for many apps, it is more efficient with an aggregator. If I'm selling a pack of, say, 20 apps, I'm spending the acquisition cost, the retention cost, and reacquisition cost once. If these 20 apps were to go out into the market and acquire, retain, and reacquire those subscribers, it will be 20x of that. So it is always more efficient. It is convenient for the customer and efficient for the apps to have an aggregator in between.
So also, two things clearly apart from, being efficient for the customer, there has also been, and we spoke about this, a subscription and wallet fatigue that consumers used to face prior to aggregators taking on in a big way over the past couple of years. What are the other need gaps that need to be fulfilled in the years to come, Harit?
Content discovery. The search engine optimization and the recommendation engines. In linear at least, there were 600 channels. If there were 600 channels, there were 600 programs playing, of which 40 were relevant to you. So you had to choose between 40. You didn't have to choose between. In OTT, the amount of content, whatever has ever been produced, is lying out there on the cloud.
Yeah, and it takes you hours,
wade
sometimes
through
sometimes to figure out what do you really want to watch.
It's like buying a shirt.
Yeah.
You go to
buying a shirt online. It's easier to see it in the store.
No, it's very difficult to see in the store because you got to go to 5 stores.
Yeah.
And then look for a size 40 shirt in stripes at 5 stores, one by one. And then decide that I would like one on the second store and one on the third store and none on the other stores. And then go back to those 2 stores and buy that one shirt here, go through billing. Same thing is happening to content. You wade through 5 apps looking for content of the language that you want to watch in and genre that you watch in. So you go through 1 app, 2nd app, 3rd app, 4th app, and by the time you reach the 5th app, you've forgotten what you liked on the 2nd and the 3rd and the 4th. And then you go back to those and start watching those. Instead, if your language and genre, I give you in one rail from these 5 apps, you could start watching what you wanted to watch in probably 5 seconds of your switching on your device. When you started watching television, when you watched it, you pressed guide, you selected the genre.
Sure.
So I want to go to entertainment. Selected the language, whether it is Hindi or Telugu or Tamil or whatever. So you selected Hindi. The 10 channels that are showing Hindi entertainment at this point in time are displayed with what they're showing. You select on that, and in about 3 to 5 seconds of your switching on a television, you are watching what you wanted to watch.
Correct.
Our benchmark was that. A person should be able to get to the content that he wants to watch
Faster.
in seconds of switching on his device. So your search engine, your recommendations, your aggregation, the entire plan needs to work around that aim.
Yeah.
So for that, what you need to do is you need to first of all have deals or contracts or aggregations with the most watched apps. It is not that I have 20 apps. I have the 20 top apps which are most watched. So even in television, we used to say, okay, am I covering 99% of the viewership by the channels? I may not have 99% of the channels in the genre. But do the channels that I have cover 99% of viewership, which normally ends at about 50% of the channels. The long tail normally gives you 1% of the viewership. So it was the same principle we used at the aggregation level here.
How do you see the OTT aggregator space evolving in the coming months, and what are some of the interesting consumer insights or trends that you have seen that will shape it in the coming months or years?
So I hope the OTT aggregator space grows up because we alone cannot grow this category. And the interesting part is that everybody you meet socially tells you that, oh, we only watch OTT. But when you look at the data, yes, there is about, and loosely speaking, because there are various sources of data and none of them is accurate, but you form a picture of what is happening in the country. So apparently there is about 500 million people who are watching OTT content in the country. 90% of them are watching free OTT content. They're not paying for it. As an aggregator, you are interested in somebody who's paying for it because that's the only way you will make money. A free customer and you not having control on the advertising, the aggregator doesn't make money there. So I'm only interested in pay. Pay is 10% of the total viewing. Of this 10%, half of it is bundled content, bundled through your service providers, like your telecom or whatever. So that's something that the aggregator like us is not interested in. So that leaves only 5% of the total, which is paying. The interesting insight was that this 5% also majority is subscribing to 1 or 2 apps, that too intermittently. So there is the myth that there are 80 apps and everybody is watching OTT only in this country is a myth. So the aggregator's job, if you ask me today, is to grow this market. So on one side, to make it easy for the customer to have a commercial relationship and discover content. On the other side, to grow the paid.
How do you do that?
By taking the aggregated bundle and the convenience of it to more number of people. Because today, maybe a lot of people are not subscribing to apps because it is difficult. It is cumbersome to forge a commercial relationship with so many apps and keep them renewed and then wade through content every day. If I take out these two pains out of the aggregation, it'll probably become like television tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us and sharing these insights with us.
Pleasure always. Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.